Hello again, welcome to PaintersBlock. I'm your host, Anthony Ryden, and today we are covering my build on this sewer base. It's going to be a giant knight sitting on this guy, so we're going to make sure it's very big. We're using some styrofoam. It's molding foam from Michael's. You can get it from, or like crafting foam. It's easily moldable. You literally use my fingers. We can grab our favorite glue. Mine's the Loctite glue for this type of situation, especially since we're not dealing with plastic. And that's some armature wire. I got it off of Amazon. It's pretty nice. It's what I use to connect the styrofoam to the cork wine bottle, the cork for the wine bottles. And that's what's going to give us our column and our multi-layer appearance to this this base. And now we're going to grab like an X-Acto knife or whatever cutting edge you have. There's actually tools for styrofoam particularly that are dull, so you don't have to worry about them dulling out your X-Acto knife. So I wouldn't recommend using the X-Acto knife, but that's what I'm using. You don't really have to worry about it. But this is what we're going to do to rough out the styrofoam just to give it more of that concrete feel, because I want this to be a giant slab of concrete in Necromunda, in a giant hive city that's just like a huge multi-layer feel. So we're going to grab this green stuff, make sure to really mix it up together. Now unfortunately it does dry up every time you buy it from the store, so you have to worry about little chunks of dry green stuff inside of it. Make sure to cut that out before you put it on, unlike me. And then just use a silicone tool and mold it out, and use a little water if it's getting a little too stuck to your tools, and that'll help flatten it out. And it's not that big of a deal, it's just a little extra support to the base. As you can see there, I have one side done. And that's going to give us just enough support for everything on this base to be, well, supported. Anyways, so make sure you grab your knight and always double check that everything fits. I use this blue stuff. It's like poster tack that you can put up on the wall, and it just helps you keep things temporarily together in case you want to still paint it separately. So here I'm going to show you how I'm going to make these tubes. These tubes are what I'm going to be using for the pipes for the sewage drain. And these I just cut from my Winsor Newton brushes that I just bought, which are great brushes. I really like them. Unfortunately, the one brush I got from them came in a bit frayed, which was a little bit sad since they're so expensive, but the other one was very good. And these plastic tubes, if you ever get your paint brushes, always save these plastic tubes. They're amazing. Especially these Winsor Newton ones are just big enough that they fit the lights that I have for our next video. So definitely save these, and if you're spending a bunch of money on these type of hobby tools, save everything you can because they make great basing material. So after you've cut out two little sections, they just need to be deep enough to go into the foam and have enough sturdiness. You're ready to get started. So get your knight down, make sure that everything's set in the right place. I have one already situated here, as you can see. So I'm just going to show you how I put it in. It's super easy. This foam is nice. It's moldable, very moldable. You just push it in and you're good to go. There we go. And as you can see, I'm having a little trouble, but I'm only just making sure that the base doesn't come off of the... I'm a little bit worried about the base coming off of the styrofoam coming off the base, but I don't have that problem at all for the rest of the time I'm building it. It's very sturdy. You don't have to worry about that as much as I was. So after you have that situated however you want, and I'm having this situated because I needed to go into a sewage drain river. I'm trying to make this very multi-layer, and the reason why is we want to give a layer of height to our model with this knight. Especially since I'm having him seated, I'm worried about, okay, if he's seated, he's going to look small. I don't want him to look small, I want him to look big even as he's seated. How do you do that? You make his seat animated enough to look like, oh wow, he's sitting on something huge, he must be huge too. And that's what my theory is. Let me know in the comments below if you think I pulled it off or not. So here what we're going to do is we're just going to lay the two pieces of cork, nice straight lines, just down the middle, giving us a little river of sewage. It's going to give us a nice little fun place to put some resin. I'm a little addicted to resin now. That's very fun material. And just a lot of like floating material that can go down, animate our scene, and give us more depth to it so that our knight can look humongous and just treacherous. He's going to be this nice demonic demon knight, so I'll show him at the end of the video. He'll have a little rough draft of what he'll look like. So after you're done setting it up, just make sure that the right proper length for your base. Just cut out one piece already and make it nice and smooth, and then use that to cut out the other one. That's the easiest method, I would say. And once you got it all set, just glue it down. Bing bada boom, you're ready to go. And make sure to use a straight edge whenever you cut those things too. Here we have some of the wrap from boxes. You get them a lot of time from Amazon. It's just extra industrial wrap, plastic wrap, just to keep everything more secure. But these things are amazing at just looking like grating that goes into like for catwalks, like metal material. That's kind of hard to make without like a texturizing tool and green stuff and molding it. And this one, it just comes like this. You can just cut a little piece out and make a catwalk for yourself. It's quite nice. So once you cut a little piece out, just put it over wherever you want it. Now I'm making sure to leave the front of my sewer open because I want you to be able to see inside at the end when we put resin, and then we have a bunch of material floating in there to give it more fun as you like, oh, let me look down lower. Wow, there's even stuff inside the sewer. That's what the kind of look you want with this. So we're not going to put cork over the front of it. We're only going to put the catwalk going over it. And once we get a few more catwalks going over the other pieces of cork, you can see now we have this really nice like sewer lane going on. Like a catwalk where you can walk over the sewer river and keep an eye on what's going on for the employees that have to go clean up the sewage in the underhive. As you can see, we got some cork set up for the top. Now this cork is going to be kind of set to give us more dimension to our base, also add more weight to our character. After he sits inside this, it's going to look like he's broken like an entire cement wall, or he's broken a road that's been caved in from the sheer weight of his body. That's kind of what we're going for. So here I'm going to show you how you do it. You just grab some cork, measure it out to be a little bit precise, not too precise, but you don't want it to be even. It's broken. And once it's done, it should look a little bit like this. And then you're going to put a little bit more on the insides, but I'm going to do that later, probably off camera, because I need to put in some textures first, and then I need to put the cork and then prime it. But if you do, you could stop at this step, or you can put some more cork on the inner layers to really sell that look of it's weighted and he's breaking the road with this sheer weight. Now this Mod Podge acrylic sealer is really great. I use it a lot for this project. I'm using it right now to keep the styrofoam from melting. A lot of times primers and aerosols will melt your styrofoam. Now at the same time, I just realized that an aerosol could melt my styrofoam, and I did not melt my styrofoam, but it could have, and that's scary. Oh man, but it did not, so that works. You can put that all over your styrofoam and then you'll be fine. But we're going to do a couple layers instead of that. So here we have my PVA from Army Painter and a bunch of other texturizing materials from Army Painter, as well as some that I got from Michaels. Honestly, on this step that I put this stuff everywhere, you can use whatever material you have on hand. Just make sure to use a bunch of different textured material. Yeah, and just make sure to get a whole bunch of collections of them going. Whatever you find that's fun and not going to degrade over time. I will say the Skull Box from Citadel, though, maybe a little bit different. You should snag some of that, because that is a beautiful box for some beautiful terrain pieces. Otherwise, though, another thing that's pretty cool, you don't have to do it. Other people have other methods of getting this done, but I think this is pretty easy. You just get these drains from Vaughn's. They're like $3, and you just cut them out, and they make these excellent little fencing grates or cement cement holders. So when you put these and you glue them into the cork and you put a little bit of the astrogranite on it, it makes it look like the piece of metal that they use to lay the cement on is sticking out. So it makes it look more like debris and more ruined, like there's a piece of the inner structure of the wall sticking out of the wall. It's pretty fun. So now we're going to grab a box, and whenever you're texturizing, make sure to put it inside a box because you don't want to lose all the material. That Army Painter terrain box set was $60. It doesn't come with that much terrain stuff. It's just like a good selection of terrain stuff. So do I recommend the Army Painter terrain box? I think I don't, just by the sheer fact it's not a lot. For $60, I kind of expected to have like enough for quite a bit of an army, and that one's like you have enough for 10 models for one various look, maybe 20. but that's not enough for me. I don't know. For 60 bucks, that doesn't seem right. So just make sure to go around and lay this everywhere that's going to be the most interesting. The most eyes are going to be laid on it. And just in between the cracks to really help seal the foam from the primer. Like I said, aerosol is going to melt styrofoam. Now this is the scary part about foam. When you're working with it, you always got to just make sure you seal it well. A lot of people say water down your PVA glue, put it all over, then you're fine. I didn't do that. All I did was the acrylic sealer spray, and then I put texture paint, the technical paint, all over it. Now that's a little bit more extreme than putting PVA glue all over it. It's not the cheaper method either, but I was gonna do it anyway, so I just figured that would work, and it did. So if you wanted to make sure and you didn't want to spend a bunch of money to find out that it melted on you, I did it for you. You don't have to worry about it. It doesn't melt, and it really worried me. So here, it's just a really quick pan through of sprinkling debris all over your base. It's really not a huge science to it. There's not a method to my madness. I'm putting it wherever I think it would be interesting to have different textures of materials. Going inside the cracks, gonna put some cork in there just to extra sell the effect of weight. That's it. It's really not that hard. Then you're grabbing some fences. These fences I got from the Necromunda box. They have great terrain pieces in that Necromunda box. I would highly recommend it. You know it's a bit expensive, but if you're going for these elaborate 40K technical bases, it's a beautiful box, and you're already going to spend a bunch of money on these pieces. You might as well spend a little bit more. Now this piece comes from a lot of rhinos. A lot of people recognize it. It is a smasher, and if you like the smasher, please smash that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out, helps the channel, helps me get this night out to you faster, and maybe hit that notification bell. That notification bell is going to help you know when I come out with my next video. I'm a little bit less regular. This project's pretty big, and honestly, I get kind of sick lately. I don't know what's wrong with my health. I'm going to have to go see a doctor about it eventually, but for now, models. Now, after you've just glued down all of the different materials you want to sell your model, I have a bunch more bits around. As you can see, I already put some down just as an example of what I'm going to do, but I'm going to put more around the bottom of the base, sell that especially. I have a bunch of crates, I have a pillar, and we're just going to make it look like this knight has landed in this bridge, and he's found this hole from Necromunda of some hidden cache of Imperial goodies, and he's hoarding it. So here's a bunch of technicals that I have from Citadel. I have the technical Astrogranite Debris and the Astrogranite Normal. I have the Armageddon Dunes, and I have the Agrellan Earth. And I start with the Armageddon Dune because this is a fabulous texturizing technical. It sticks together so you can seal gaps with this. Now, is this the best thing to seal gaps with, or do what I just did? No. You should probably find a cheaper method. It was really expensive, and this took the entire bottle. I did it for you. You don't have to do it. I don't recommend using it. Now I'm using the technical Astrogranite. I'm going to put this all over the giant cement block. And like I said, that takes like the entire bottle, and I had 2 bottles. So luckily I have 2 half bottles left. Then I'm using some Agrellan Earth, and I'm going to use it on these inner cracked corks that I told you I was going to make. Just to give it an extra feel of degradation. I'm going to see if this really works, if it gives enough of a cracked feel, or maybe I should carve out the cracks myself. Let me know in the comments down below if you think that I should do that or not. I kind of am leaning towards that I should make the cracks myself so they're a little bit bigger. So after you, like I said, I have a sign for the bottom, and you want to sell the bottom a little bit better. You're going to glue down this poster, and then you're going to just PVA, put some debris around it, just extra cement it in. Don't worry that it looks a little funny right now, because everything's going to get primed, and once it gets primed, it's going to look better. So it's starting to come together. You're just going to put some skulls, and these skulls into the side for this vertical appearance on this is going to help sell the height, and just give so much more detail to our diorama base. Now I'm going to show you how to make the waterfall that I did, and this is just using a sandwich baggie that you should have at home. Pretty much everyone has a sandwich baggie lying around. They're easy, they're quick, they're easy to cut apart. You can literally use your fingers. So after you cut out a substantial piece that gets as long enough for whatever project you're working on, you can just glue this into the pipe. And it is a little bit finicky, it is very light, so I recommend getting some pliers. These pliers came with the armature wire that I was showing you in the beginning of the video, and they are quite nice. I've been using them quite a bit. And once you get them all situated, just get some glue already into that pipe so that you can set it with the pliers. Then you're going to get the glue that you like, get it in there, and get it situated also down in the bottom of the river, because I want my flow from the sewage not just to disappear at the top of the resin. I want it to go into the resin and actually cause disruption, just kind of like a real flow would do. It doesn't just stop at the surface, it leaves stuff at the bottom. So here we're using some clear texturizer. We put it all over, and that's just going to give us more texture to paint on later, because we're going to give this a green look and some texture, more stuff to it. This is snow texture, and this is actually going to be used for sludge. Once it's primed, we're going to be able to paint this snow texture however we want it. And here we go. Here is how it all looks at the end. Please like and subscribe if you like it. The Knight Lancer sitting in his magnificent throne, all lit up. The next video, I'm going to show you LEDs for dummies. It's going to be great. Hit that notification bell if you want to catch up and make sure you see it on time. Otherwise, have a great day, and I really hope I helped you break that painter's block.